No, I was all right. I wasn't
Oh,
trying to be on it. That was
okay.
uh that was a pre-show fire up
Oh,
noise.
that was just for us.
That was for us.
All right. I guess we're probably live now. Let's see.
Oh, oh,
All right. Um, welcome back to the Old Man Gaming Hour, folks.
here we are.
This week we're doing something a little bit different, just because we just had a event we went to yesterday, and we're gonna talk about that as the main topic today. So I think we'll do these type of shows, the show after whatever event we go to. If it's a 2-day event, I don't know if we'll do it that exact same day we get home.
That or maybe we'll make that a Monday show.
Yeah, or something. We'll, we'll mix these shows in because I think it's important to do reviews of events, especially the ones we were actually playing in. I think that might give players a good insight of what we seen as players, how the event was run, all different aspects of tournament play, because that's what we care about and like to do here on this channel.
Honey P.
So, before we get into the weeds, is that what they say? We'll just go over a few things about first being outside of Warhammer this week. I don't know if we did all that much, but I mean, yours is probably the same as last show. What did you do this week?
I worked. I'm on week number 2. Just finished day 12. Got 3 more to go.
Oh man.
Then I'm off for 7, and we're playing some games.
Mm-hmm.
Honey P.
You getting burnt out up there?
No, it's whatever. Every day's every day's different. So
Yeah. Well, when you showed up yesterday morning, I was like, God damn, that's a tired boy right there.
well, my dogs are visiting. My parents and the boys went to Wisconsin, and so the dogs don't usually come up here to work with me. But there was no one to hang out with them, so they came up here to hang with me, and we've had a great time. However, I got to stay up a little bit later to get them outside every day, and then I have to wake up a little earlier to get them outside before I go
Yeah.
to work. So I've just been sleeping a lot less. So.
Gotcha.
Yep, but I have got some stuff on my table. So when you tell you what you
Uh,
did
oh, you're already prepped.
outside of Warhammer,
He's
but I
prepped
am
and ready
fired
to get
up.
into the next segment.
Yeah,
Okay, outside of Warhammer this week, I did nothing. No.
excellent.
No, we had a couple softball games last Sunday. It's still playing on that co-ed team.
Nice.
I thought I jacked a homer for the first time in years. Turns out it was just
Warning
a long.
track power.
Turns out it was a long fly ball to the left fielder, so that was fun. But I haven't really done much else outside of Warhammer because I knew we were going to play in this event yesterday. So most of the time went into either doing stuff this week for our upcoming events that we're going to run, or trying to prep for this tournament. So
Yeah.
so not much for me. And since you're so eager to talk about what's on your work desk, why don't you go ahead?
So I've been working again on the Slaves to Darkness. Doing a lot of the gold. Let me see, which one should I show you? The pre-gold here on all these models. Where am I going? There we go. Got my entire group of Chaos Warriors. Got my Chaos Sorcerer started, and then of course Abrexia over here. I've been working on. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with her, as far as like the gold goes. if I want to cover those the entire plate gold or just the outline like that and do something else underneath. We've been talking about that. And then, of course, I'll show you. This is, I can't really get the light on it very good, but this is the end goal. So I got a ways to go, but I got some work done. So I was pretty, fired up about it. I've gotten a lot of painting done this week. Or this last 2 weeks, really. So pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I think my goal will be to maybe get this army done maybe in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. We'll see how much time I can spend on it while I'm off. But I want to get it done. So if I get the opportunity to play with it at MIGT, maybe I'll do that. We'll see.
Well, I mean that's a little bit of ways away too, so you'll be able to get it done before that. Huh. Yeah, I got some stories to tell you about that. All right. I don't have anything on the work desk, obviously. I think a lot of my time has really been sucked into either doing stuff for our events, or not thinking about Warhammer as much when I get home. I don't know. It's a weird. I'm in a weird spot, I think, because it feels like I do a lot of leg work via all the socials or Discord or trying to plan for things we got coming up. That when I get home, it's like, I could hobby, but I need like a mental break for a little bit, and then I just don't hobby. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I should get back into the swing of things because there are some things I probably need to paint that'll end up going in my list anyway. So I need to get those Morbeg Nights done at least, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next week, obviously, I come home for 7 days, so we're going to get some games in and get in the mood to do some of that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try my list again. I made some alterations. I may take a Brexia out, even though I'm throwing paint on it right now. And then I want to try, obviously, Trolls, because we've been talking about that the last day or so. And then I want to play Marathi, and I want to play my Vampires. So I got a lot of stuff to get some games in with. So I got a lot to try out because I got to decide what I'm going to play this year. So
sounds like you're going to play a lot of things this year.
Well, I want to try them all so I can decide what I'm feeling. I haven't
no, I know
all the books.
And that's the weird part about this new edition too. Is like, hey, you got all these armies, and just by first glance you go, okay, I think that might have some legs or whatever, right?
Right.
And then we look at some tournaments that had been played already, and then we look at stuff like we're going to talk about today, and you go, wow, man, this other shit that I didn't think about is good. Like, it was strong. It was a strong list or whatever.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. A lot of I don't even know if we'll get to like an actual meta until like months down the road,
Yeah, I mean, we're not anywhere close right now, I don't think.
We might not even be close at Michigan GT because, like, how many events do people play that are going to go to that prior to going to that? I mean, we try to play a few here and there, but it's not like we're going to hit like 3 GTs before September,
Right.
So it'll be a lot of like one-day store tournaments and whatever, people just playing practice games at whatever with buddies and trying to come up with something they think is good, and then they get to a tournament and realize that it's horse shit, right, or whatever.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's a foreshadowing for what we're going to talk about today. Foreshadowing, that's a industry term.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm a professional.
Oh, Speaking of industry, you should tell people to like, subscribe, and follow
Oh,
all of our
yeah.
socials.
I didn't say
Jump
I
into our
was very
Discord.
good at it. I just said I was a professional.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. I'll jump in there and
This is
do
a
that.
total shit show. Sure. As Josh said, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And I guess if
Hit the
you're
bell. Follow us.
watching on
Subscribe.
Twitch, yeah, follow.
Get notified.
All the social media links listed below here. And whatever you're doing. Yeah, join the Discord. That'd be like fantastic actually. We because what we're about to talk about is an upcoming event that we're gonna run. And it would be so helpful if everybody was just in the Discord, and then that's the single best place to be for information on upcoming events we're going to run. We will make posts on other things too, but at least in the Discord, it's more of a chat platform, so we can put the information out. You can ask us questions on there, whatever. But leading up to that, so the upcoming events, we do have our August RTT we're going to run at our house games here in Monroe, Michigan.
We are full up.
Yes.
No tickets remaining.
The last one we ran in May was much success.
Very popular.
So we almost filled that one up, and I just think about we had 18 for that one, and by word of mouth, basically, we filled the August RTT up, which is August 24th, one full month ahead of schedule, which was fantastic. And I know that there was some people that that mentioned coming to that and playing, but it's full. We've sold all 20 tickets. However, if anybody would like to get on a wait list, please message us somewhere. Either Discord would probably be best, or if you'd like to email, you can email us at oldmangaming734@gmail.com.
Right.
Send us a message somehow. I'm going to start a wait list. It's likely that there will be drops in a tournament. So if you want to get in, grab a spot, get on that wait list, and we'll give you a holler if a seat opens.
Yeah, especially with having it filled so far out, shit could happen.
Yeah. The other thing too, and I was talking to one of our buddies yesterday, was he was thinking about just coming anyway. He wasn't able to get a ticket. He didn't sign up quick enough, I guess. But he said he might just come anyway. And then just play filler games or whatever we need, So.
Yep. Never know somebody drops.
Yeah, and someone could drop. I mean, prime example. Last time we had one player drop the night before, and then I stepped in and filled it. So you never know, right? So if you want to come hang out, most of our team will be available because we filled it up with non-teammates this time, which was even more surprising to me, I think.
I think only Ethan.
Ethan and Nick. Nick got a ticket.
Nick is playing?
Yeah, he snuck in at the end to grab the last ticket.
I like it.
He missed the last one, and he really wanted to play.
The wedding.
He had that wedding he had to go to. So this one he really wanted to play in, and I kept telling him to register, and got down to the day where there was one ticket left. And I said, hey, if you want it, you better get on it. So he grabbed it up. Well, like I said, and maybe there'll be space. I don't know how. I know we didn't really pack them in too tight last time, and we might figure out a way to get another table set up in case somebody wanted just to walk in and get a game in.
Right.
That would be cool too. Jeff did that. He had a game in yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah. he had a buddy of his or something just stop in and then wanted to get a game, so they played a game during the event. So I mean, we
Cool.
wouldn't mind doing that either. I'll bring an army just for that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll bring mine too.
So yeah. So anyways, if you want on the wait list, give us a shout, and we'll start a wait list up. But yeah, I'm super stoked for August. We got a lot of new names registered on the player list, so it'll be fun to meet all you guys that signed up. For all the guys returning from last time,
Thanks for coming back.
yeah, that's
Good luck.
I think that good luck. Yeah. No, I mean I think it's a great sign of the players in our region that want to play games. I do think if you go to an event and you think it's horseshit or you didn't have fun, you wouldn't come back.
Right.
So that just tells me that we must have ran it okay. And we got some names back from the first time, plus some new ones. So awesome, guys. Keep it up, and we'll keep running events as long as you'll tolerate us.
Yep. And they'll just get better and better.
And that's what we do. That's what we do, right? We go to events, we play practice games, we try to improve our game while having fun playing. I think that's the Warhammer hobby in a nutshell, I guess, right?
Well, I meant the tournaments will just get better and better, but yeah, that too.
Oh, yeah, okay. Our events, sure. How much better can excellent be? I don't know.
It's hard to improve on perfection.
Yes, like it's 99% awesome already. But yeah. So, anyways, upcoming events. The other event that's upcoming is at least the big one anyway is the Michigan GT.
That's in September.
At end of September 22nd, 24th, something like that.
Yeah, give or take.
Actually, I had it pulled up anyway. I don't know.
Look at my calendar.
I don't have the dates on here. I pulled it up because what I want to do is this.
MIGT is the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of September.
Okay.
Yep, and that's run by Jeff.
If you guys on Twitch, I'm gonna post the link. It's the link to the AoS ticket. So if you want to get in the AoS tournament there, they have currently 11 tickets left out of 100.
Nice.
That was 20 last week. So in the last week they sold 9. There's only 11 left. If you want to go, get your ticket. $80. Get you an AoS ticket for 2 days. You don't need like a convention pass or anything like that. It's just register for the event. That's always a great tournament. We've played in it the last 2-3 years, something like that.
I think you went 2 years. Last year was my first time at MI.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, and they get some big names in the player pool. Player pool in the player base. We had the first year I went there. They had a few Team USA guys come. I know. It's the first time I met John Anderson and his wife. Bill Souza was there. It was a Team USA guy, and also Tom Guan. If you guys know Tom Guan, if you follow events, I don't think he's ever lost a game in his whole AoS career. Maybe I'm wrong, but decent player. And I played next to him. I don't know if Rick will like me telling the story, but I think it's hilarious. First ever Michigan GT I go to. First round, at a table, directly aside of me, Tom Guan. He's playing Rick, our buddy Rick. And in my game, we're doing our stuff. Before our turn 1, or round 1 was complete, Tom Guan packs all his shit up in his box, walks away from the table. So I look over, I was like, whoa, what the fuck did he just do? We're like half an hour into this game. Tom already won. Tom already tabled this kid, Rick. And Rick was packing his shit away like, I don't know what just happened. Like, it was like ghost face, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. It was amazing. I still don't understand it. Rick doesn't like to talk about it, I don't think. I don't know. I asked him about it before and he was just like, I don't know, man. It was like +7 to casting and it blew all my shit up. And I mean, it was funny, but that's my time gone story. But it was pretty impressive, I guess. So, but yeah, anyway, so Michigan GT draws a lot of competitive players in. I think last year they sold 100 tickets, but they had 90-ish, low 90s, and players that showed up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awesome. Jeff did say, I think if they end up capping out at 100, they might open it up to some more. So it's not like they're limited on space. They have the space.
Yeah. It's just the tables, you think, or?
I don't know. They probably have 100, 50 tables there, like they own.
Yeah.
But they could source more probably.
That's true. He does do that. He knows some people.
Yeah. I mean, even if he reached out to us, we could bring some stuff up if he needed,
Sure.
from our group or whatever. So I'm sure it's not that difficult for him to increase if if he has people wanting to buy more tickets than 100. So anyway, that's the Michigan GT. Everyone should register for that if you haven't. You can meet us up there. We got a group coming.
Say hi.
Yeah, we got friends coming up from Kentucky that we'll see there. That are coming up in a group. I think there are some guys coming in from the Cleveland area that I've been talking to, and it would be real cool. Like, you go there, you play 3 games on Saturday, and then go out to dinner with everybody or something like that, and shoot the shit, have a drink. That's part of what makes those kind of events fun too. It's not just the games you play and meeting new people. It's like all the friends
Hanging
you
out
met
after.
Yeah, all the friends you met prior or something, and you go ahead and hang out for a little while, and it's good times.
Right.
So let's actually, before we get into talking too much about other games, we do want to mention our sponsors again for our upcoming RTT that we mentioned before, and that would be Michelle Anderson and her Etsy store, Tea for Its Treasures.
Yep. Remember when we couldn't even say that name?
Yeah, I think
It's just slowing from the tongue.
Weeks went by and we fucked that up, so we apologize. But Michelle, yeah, I talked with her the other day when I reached out again about sponsorship for the August RTT, and she literally is like, I'm working 9 to 5 every day, and I can't keep up with my Etsy orders.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's the products she has available for you guys on her Etsy shop is their quality stuff.
Yep.
And I think she'll be putting out some new items soon. I don't know. I haven't heard back from her. I gave her some suggestions. One being because she already has the ability to make those measuring sticks, right, out of the colored plastic cut things, or I can't remember what they're called.
Resin.
It's resin or whatever that she cuts out, and she makes a magnetized case with different size
like
measuring sticks. Yeah.
Yep.
I did see on Twitter somewhere that somebody was making up little nameplates for the new terrain, like obscuring and cover and places of power and stuff.
Sure.
So she could manage to set you up, guys, with a set of those. She said that was a good idea. She might end up doing it, but I don't quote me on it, but that may be a product coming in the future. So
I mean, if everybody asks her for it, I'm sure she'll make it.
Well, I know, I just seen it. And I said, well, this might be a nice idea. People might like this. I don't know. But whatever. I mean, she's already got some real great stuff out there for you guys. So hit her up. Also, Gray Matter Gaming or Gray Matter Games. Sorry, Andy. Is pretty much like our exclusive place to get gaming mats. I don't think we'd really go with anybody else.
Yep. It's, even all the mats I have at my house.
Yeah. I mean, he's local to us, but his reach is pretty far now. I seen on his website the other day, he's got a section of like all the stores that his product is getting sold in. And lo and behold, there is a store in Hawaii that carries his product.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. a little tie into the Ohana room.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I think he's, trying to get his stuff into other stores. I don't know how easy it is for him to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that the game room has some of his mats, and I know Hoplite has some mats available. I just picked one up, so I mean they're around.
Yeah, so very cool. I know he started. He has aside from all your gaming mats, he does have 4.0 objective markers.
Which
we showed. Yeah, we showed off last stream for ours. I still got mine packed away, but we had ours custom made with our logo on it,
and they're sweet.
And so you can get those from him if you like. Michelle will also do those. Hers are just the clear plastic ones though, but she can put your logo on it if you want to.
That's cool.
Aside from that, he does have new product. If you guys are into Spearhead, he's got Spearhead mats with the printed objectives on the mat already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So those are cool, and I think they're dual-sided, just like the game board you get in the box.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so you can just use either side of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think those were very expensive. They might have been $40, $50, I think, maybe for Spearhead mat.
Nice, very nice,
So,
very good deal.
Anyway, shout out to Michelle and Andy. We love you guys, and I appreciate the sponsorships. And I guess now it's time. It is time. Was that the buffer guy?
Are you ready to rumble?
Yeah, let's get into this shit. Okay. For this section, I wanna pull up BCP because we got some shit to talk about with some visual aids.
Oh, sweet.
So this is the event we played at. Well, some of us played at.
I didn't get to play.
The Hoplite Games RTT, held up in Lansing, Michigan at the Hoplite Games store. Pretty awesome venue, I would say, for being a gaming store. It's they moved into a bigger location recently. And
their old location was nice. I mean, it was packed in, and they had a lot of product. And now they moved into this newer place. It's they got like the store side and the gaming side, and it's every time I go in there, I'm impressed.
That's fantastic. It was the first time I've been there, and I walked in, I kind of looked around, and I went, "What's an okay sized gaming store where their product was?" And I'm thinking, I don't know where we're gonna play at. I didn't realize that they had that whole other section on the other side. But yeah, it's big. It's got 10 or 12 like wood built chest high kind of tables for gaming.
Yep.
And then a bunch of tables, like card tables and stuff, set up in there for playing cards or whatever other games you want to play, board games or something.
Jeff was telling us that they run a summer program for kids doing D&D. So like a D&D camp, which is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
So,
that is a cool idea.
Stuff going on in there.
Yep. So if you guys get a chance, if you're around the Lansing area, if you're local, I'm sure you already know about it, but if you're not, they're going to continue to run some events for us. So I had a great time. My record wouldn't indicate that, but I had a lot of fun. And we met up with some people there that I haven't seen in a while, just because whatever, and we really only see them at events here and there. So it was cool to see some old friends.
Yeah.
So I guess first let's. I'll do this. I learned this from a professional. It was held at Hoplite Games here in Lansing, Michigan. As you can see, the store is actually right here. This is an old photo, but this is the street view, right next to the karate place and the bus stop.
I'm just waiting for it to come up.
You're on a delay.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
So it's underneath apartment buildings, which is cool because it's a newly built place.
Yep.
And I will say this, across the street on the corner here is the Chinese place Jeff suggested we eat at.
Yeah, I've eaten there numerous times, and it is fantastic.
The warning was there's another Chinese place down on this other street corner.
On the other corner, yeah.
And he said if we ate there, we wouldn't make it to game 3. So
I've never eaten at that one either, so that's ironic. I mean, because I just picked one to go to one day.
So anyways, that's the funny story about the food options. They did have a pizza place. There's a pizza place across the street and a Mexican restaurant, I think, in one of these. Yeah, same building.
Mexican place, same building.
Anyways, that's what we did. That's where we were at. Very cool.
Yep.
What I want to do is a couple of things. I'm first going to talk about my list and my experience, and then we'll go through a few other lists from the tournament, and then we'll take a look at the guys that were 3-0.
So let's talk real quick about as a team. How did we do as a team? I was there for game 1. I stopped in after work.
Yep.
You were playing against gentleman.
Justin.
Justin playing some trolls. Beautiful army.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick was playing Nurgle, and he was taking on Slaves of Darkness army. I talked to the guy, and he was a really cool guy. We had a little conversation because I've been obviously working on some slaves. So what was our overall team record?
Between me and Nick, it was 1 win, 4 losses, and a tie.
And we
showed out. We showed out.
Always know that Nick gets a win and a tie every tournament.
I don't know how he keeps doing this. We talked to him afterwards, and he said something about him and the guy were talking, and they couldn't figure out like who would end up winning. So they erased the scores and just tied. I don't know how. I don't know. Okay, either it's like this really weird scenario where he plays guys that just like to tie, or he convinces them in a way to where they think that that's a good idea. I don't know how it happens. I really don't. Every single freaking tournament, he grabs a tie from someone. I don't know.
He put the number 1.5 on his jersey.
Yeah.
Because he always gets 1 win and 1 tie.
For a reason. I mean, he's dead nuts on 1.5 wins.
He can play 38 games in a tournament. He could play in a 6-day tourney, play 38 games, and he'd be 1-36 and 1 every single time.
It's amazing. It's uncanny. But that's why we love you, Nick, because you're 1.5.
1.5% of a teammate.
It's amazing. So overall as a team, I drug us down. I was 0-3. It was pretty surprising. But after my first game with Justin, I knew I was in trouble.
Okay.
I knew I was in trouble. Trolls are not overly hard to kill. However, you have to kill complete models, or they're completely back to full on health the next go around.
Yeah.
So that's part of the issue with them and why they're going to be so good. It's very difficult to lift whole units off the table unless you can hit them so hard. And I don't know if there's a lot of hammers in the game that can just take 30 wounds off the table with a, what do they got, a 4-up save and a 5-up ward, or 4-up save and a 6-up ward or something. And then they heal every start of every turn, and they also heal when they fight. So it's like, I don't know, man.
They're like vampires.
Yeah, but better. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with them. Maybe shooting would be a start.
Maybe.
But, like, because they won't heal because they won't fight if they're at range.
They'll still heal at the end of the
phase,
you'll take, you're not doing as much damage.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. You'd have to have some kind of massive shooting, and there's not really massive shooting in the game anymore.
Yeah, and they have 5 health, 4-ups, and a 5-up ward save. So, I mean, yeah, they're freaking...
Yeah, it's really tough.
That's the rock guts. I don't know about
the rock gut trolls. And that's all he really brought. I mean, I don't know if there's any reason to bring the other kind of trolls.
The other guys have 5-up and no ward saves. So, in my brain, no way.
But that's the team overview. I did pull up my list and Nick's list that we can go through.
Okay, let's do it.
We can tell me how shit it is. First, we'll start with mine, just because it's the first one I clicked on. I ran Flesh Eater Courts. Hey, what's up, Frenchie?
French-tastic. What's up, buddy?
We're just doing a little bit of a tournament overview from yesterday. So, if you like that kind of thing, hope you hang out. And if you don't like that thing, hang the fuck out anyway.
Yeah.
But my list was called Ushi plus Ghouls and Guard because I didn't have a cool name to name it. 1960 on the points. Played it in Lords of the Manor, which allows me to, every time I bring a model back through recursion, I bring an extra model back with it.
Okay.
However, I didn't get to do that much, surprisingly enough. But like I said, after the first game with Justin, I realized my list is not going to be very good yesterday. So I did take the Lore of Madness and the Prayer Lore Rites of Delusion. Those are the Flesh Eater ones, obviously. I took the Morbid Conjuration, which seems to be the strongest set of manifestations at the moment.
Yeah.
However, I think I might have cast maybe 4 in total for the 3 games.
Really?
So yeah, it was like in my first game with Justin, neither one of us got it. I got Shackles out one time. He got 0.
I remember seeing that on the table.
Yeah, he got 0 spells out. It was weird. We both just failed, and even if we got a cast off, the other one unbind it. So wasn't that impactful in the first game.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know about this. Without pluses to cast, at least for my army, it just kind of seems like a random attempt. I know the dice on average, is a 7, and I probably should be able to get some of these out on average. But, if you roll a 6, like if you roll a 7 or maybe an 8, it's not that hard to unbind.
Well, that's what I think. Like some of these spells that are like 5s, it's like, sweet, it's super easy to cast, but yeah, it's also super easy to stop. So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, is what it is. Obviously, you'll still bring them because having them on the table is better than not having them on the table.
Well, and they're free.
Yeah. But my first regiment, general was Usharan, and I put in a reinforced unit of crypt horrors with him, so I could give them the honor guard rules.
Okay.
Which seemed pretty nice. Usually I just put the plus to hit and wound on them so they could go fight other general regiment things and be extra killy.
Right.
That was the shining part of the list. Him and those guys. Regiment number 1 was with the Abhorrent Arc Regent. It was a 2-cast wizard. So he felt real good. He has also a rule on his war scroll that I forgot completely about in the first game. Realized halfway through the second game that I wasn't doing it. So he on a 3-up, he just returns a model to a knight unit or 3 models to a serf unit. He used to do that for free last edition. So I do have to roll a 3-up. However, I forgot about doing that most of the time, which was my bad. That was why I'm a bad player. But he's good, at least for being a 2-cast wizard. So between him and Usharan, I got 4 casts to try to get out some endless spells and also put out Strange Transformation on a couple units.
Okay.
The Marrow Scroll Herald is in there as a courtier. He's still John Cena. Can't see me. And he does, if he gets into combat with something, it's pretty awesome on a 3-up. Everything in combat with that unit is all strike first, while Usharan hands out strike last to everything that he's in combat with.
Yeah.
So between those two things, you can really push the fighting and dictate, you put a few things into a unit and give that unit strike last. Pretty good, because that unit probably doesn't live. And then you can hand out strike first to all units in combat with that thing. So if you happen to get something in combat with that and also something else, you have strike first just because you're in combat with that target. I don't know. It's got some play. I think that's probably needed because Flesh Eaters is kind of squishy. So you really need to be able to like get into something and just blow it the shit up,
Yeah. Right.
But anyway, he's pretty cool for 120 points. I also made him a priest, so he could generate some points doing some prayers, which is another thing in this edition that is. I like the mechanic, but I don't like how it works for me. I brought 2 units of 3 Morbeg Knights to try to do fast movement shenanigan things, which was the wrong choice. This should be combined into 6. That was an epic fail in this list. I fucked that up, played it wrong every game. And then the last regiment was with the Abhorrent Cardinal. He's a priest on his own. But the reason when you bring him is every hero phase of yours, you target a friendly hero, and they get D3 deed points.
Yep.
So he helps with generating points for your heroes, along with whichever guy is sitting in the throne. He also gets D3 deed points for sitting in it. I do like that combination, because a lot of times the guy that was sitting in the throne, I either got to like 4 or 5 or 6 points right away before I even did any spell casting. So that part felt good. And then I finished that out with a unit of Crypt Ghouls, a unit of Crypt Guard, and then the Haunter Courtier with the Savage Beyond Reason, which gives him, if he has less than 6 deed points, it gives him crit 2 hits.
Okay.
And then if he has 6 deed points, it gives him crit mortals. Not bad for a guy that's Ren 2, damage 3. So, that rounded out the list. again, I think going through this, even talking it out loud, I don't even know why I played it like this. I played a different version against you that felt a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know why you changed. I mean, granted, I think we talked about it, and you thought maybe just the way you performed against Slaves to Darkness, but I mean, and also the game that you beat me before that with my corn, you you kind of had a freak incident where you shot my Scarbrand off the table, and my Bloodthirster overextended and got beat up. So I don't know that that would happen again the way it happened. But that being said, you stomped my face, and then I got you back with the slaves. So
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like even though I took that double turn on you that first game, I still think like I had 3 or 4 hammers in that list versus the list that I played yesterday here. Really only had 2 hammers, being Ushran and the Crypt Horrors, and then
yeah.
everything else was too small to really put out a bunch of damage. And
Well, and you're counting like I think you said you were counting on like weight of dice. But if your shit gets beat off the table before you get the opportunity to drop all those dice, then
yeah, well, that's what I was kind of
it's
thinking.
not
Like
really there.
with, I thought maybe the 20 ghouls would have weighted dice into someone else's like screen or chaff or something like that.
Yeah.
But since they're my screen or chaff, it's like, if I get hit, then that's not a hammer anymore. It might be like 4 guys or 5 guys left, or maybe none. Usharan punches real hard, and he also whiffs, so it's hard to be consistent with his damage.
Yeah.
So I think, aside from that, though, I think the way that Flesh Eaters is going to have to be played is multiple reinforced units. So when you do lose a few models, you can try to replace them, opposed to, just getting a unit slapped right off the table and then you can't do much other than bring it back at half strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. So we will redo the list and
And
practice some more with it. Yeah. So that was my list. Like I said, not that great, but it's what I did yesterday.
And you were 0-3. Who'd you play?
I played. Oh, now you got me all out of here. I played. Let's see who I played. Yeah, so I played Justin Crandall round 1 with his troll list, which is we'll look at that in a minute.
Yep. Okay.
Troll's absolutely devastating. They just are real hard to lift off the table. And
in the case that, like you said, you didn't have
I didn't have enough
a lot
damage.
of hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was able to put a couple hammers, like you got to really concentrate on like a 6-pack of rock guts is 30 wounds on a 4-up save, 5-up ward.
Yeah.
So you really got to like focus fire them down. I did not do that. I underestimated their staying power. So when I engaged in the fights, it wasn't enough. Like I didn't realize, but it wasn't going to be enough to kill them. So maybe if it, I don't know. Obviously, I would have played that game different, but with a modified list, I think it would have been better off. However, 5 of his rock guts lifted my 6 horrors off the table in one hit, so
Nice.
they still hit pretty decent too. I don't know. They got a lot of good stuff going for trolls. That's what I know. Second game was versus Christian Ware. He had a Seraphon list with a shit ton of Agrodons and mostly
and
all
he rode
mounted.
with you.
No,
Oh, he didn't.
that was Rick. Rick also played Seraphon.
Oh, there was 2 Seraphon players.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see the second one.
Yep.
Okay.
His list is kind of cool. He had a Slan, He had a bunch of Saurus Guard. I think a reinforced unit of Saurus Guard that surrounded the Slan. He had two 6-packs of Agrodons. He had the Agrodon Champion. And then a reinforced unit of the other smaller mounted cavalry. I forget what they're called.
Yeah, the
The little ones.
raptor guys.
Yeah. That was a cool list. Again, I didn't have the punching power to get through the Agrodons.
Agrodons are good.
They're not as good as trolls. I did end up killing some, but it was like that game I just messed up. I took the Morbegs off to the sides of the board to try to get take the flanks early. That was wrong choice because he had 2 reinforced units of cav that just ran him down. So I lost both of those units early.
Okay.
Ushrod took a swing at Agrodons during the game and completely whiffed all of his staff swings. So the unit that should have died didn't. And then it just became one of those try to get as many little points as I could. You know, the way he had me in there. Oh, he also brought two 5-packs of chameleon skinks that you can just plop on the board wherever the fuck you want to.
Yeah,
basically.
they start off the board.
Yeah, they start off the board and then they come in on a train feature. So like shit where you need to have them on the board to take the flanks or hold a train feature and that kind of shit is really easy for him to do.
Yeah.
So he could just afford to run around with all of his cav and just run you down. It's a good list. It was cool meeting him. He was from Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so across the river from us here. And he was telling me that next weekend he's driving out to Chicago for a tournament. And he's played a few events already. It's like, yeah, but he's like full into tournament play. So
yeah, that guy is way cooler than we are.
Yeah, sure. So that's kind of cool. So I'm assuming he's already gotten some decent practice in with his list, and he played it real well. So yeah, it was a real cool dude. Wicked accent. It was like Australian kind of almost. Which was it didn't like you didn't expect to come to Lansing and then play a guy from Ontario with a Australian accent, but yeah, he's a cool dude. Liked playing him. Just again underperformed in that game against him. So, and then my last game was versus James Ball. James also brought a shitty list, and he told me that it was shitty, so I can say it on here. He brought Skaven, and he brought like 120 little bodies, along with a furnace, a bell, and a catapult, and a doom wheel. Turns out we ran out of time, and he was ahead in points, so he took the win, because I was over that day. There wasn't much point in trying to talk nothing out. However, we both agreed that if we played another round or whatever, I probably would have tabled him.
So it sounds like he just didn't want to talk it out.
Yeah, and that was fine. You know, playing this art, it wasn't like we were playing for first place or doing anything. We were bottom feeders at that point, and but I did have staying power in that game. I did a little bit different strategy at least, and try to keep everything a little bit more castled up that game.
Okay.
So that was the game that Ushran really shined with his strike last and the Marrow Scroll with the strike first combo. I just kept them right together, pushed it right into him in the middle of the board, and through doing that, I was able to dictate the whole fight sequence and really like decimate a bunch of rats off the board.
Okay.
So that part of the combo is real good. Again, like playing rats when they got a control score of 1, I have to roll a 2 up to give everything strike last. So real easy. I mean, if
Yeah, I feel like rats right now. I mean, I haven't really looked at rats for making a list, but I feel like it's shooting. And if he was
yeah,
going away from
well
that, then
he said that, and he did acknowledge he plays rats quite a bit, I guess. So he's like, yeah, I didn't want to bring like 12 Giselles to this tournament. He's a local guy too. He's from Lansing there.
okay.
He's like, just doesn't make any sense. And he liked playing Pestilence the best, he said, out of all the clans. So that's what, like, he had a brick of 40 Plague Monks. He had 20, 20 of, now I forget the name of the rats. The rats that if you charge, they have anti-charge on the weapon for the
Just the
Ren.
clan rats?
No, it wasn't. It was the
Is it
guys the guys that
the
benefit
armor
from the
guys?
Claw Lord guy.
No.
I can't remember what they're called now. Anyways, irrelevant. They they
Starts with a
died.
mess.
They died very quickly. That group of dudes. I guess like he might have been better off if he tried to pushed his army into me, but I think he was scared because I had Ushran right in the center,
Yeah.
and he did not want to engage Ushran.
You're talking Storm Vermin?
Stormvermin, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah, so he didn't want to push into me, and he was kind of bracing for the charge from me, and I had it all lined up perfectly to just surround his middle clump of shit and start like really taking it off. So that felt better. Like again, like I said, if we played another round or so, then he
Well, and
basically
so
wouldn't have anything left.
do you think that you really might have had an okay list? You just didn't know how to play it, and by game three, kind of started.
Well, the problem is like he already acknowledged that he didn't bring a strong Skaven list, and it was just a bunch of little rats. I mean, the monks, the 2 units of clan rats, and the storm vermin was basically his whole list outside of
Yeah.
the big chariot pieces. So it wasn't hard to fight and kill those things. It was just kind of wound dense, I guess, would be the main thing, and it didn't like
It
he
didn't
didn't
stick
really
around.
he didn't
It
kill a
just
lot
it
of my
didn't do a
stuff
whole
either.
lot of anything,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So and technically I took the loss there still. So
Only
I,
because pushing
well,
around
we
500 rats takes 4
yeah,
hours and 50
it
minutes.
takes a long time. I get that, but I if I would have brung more hammers, he wouldn't have had taken off a unit of ghouls. He would have been engaging into a hammer, which would have been way worse for him too.
If you would have not taken it off.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to run into, though, is that you are a really, really glass cannon. And if your hammers whiff, which is more likely in this edition because there's not as many bonuses, like you said, Ushran whiffed a few times and it was lights out. And I think
yep.
in the game against me, the one where I won, I went over and I took on Ushran and I beat his ass, and he got to swing back, but then I killed him with my double attack,
Yeah.
and it was over. And he just didn't, he could do damage, but I think he killed like one model because he whiffed.
Yeah.
So I just feel like if you don't hit,
Well, like I said, I really think I need to engage with multiple units. Even like when you brought your Vanguard into me, I should have had Ushran and a unit.
yeah, but
You know what I
everything I
mean?
think was kind of away from that. And I feel like you, in your mind, thought Ushran would be able to protect that flank, but
Yeah, well, last edition he was much more survivable because you could put Mystic Shield on him, I could just put a 5 or a
5
with
ward.
no, he has a 5 ward already, but
Oh,
with the guard they worked a little bit different. So if you wholly surrounded Usharan with guard, like in a semicircle, they
yeah.
gave people +1 to their ward.
Oh wow.
So he would have like a 3-up, 4-up on 16 wounds.
Yeah. He'll never
So
die.
yeah, so it was way easy, and he healed. You know, he still heals D3 every My Hero phase. He had that still. However, I just realized when we were driving home yesterday that he even has more healing than I thought. So, Flesh Eaters in general have a battle trait that says, in your hero phase, pick any number of abhorrent heroes. They heal D3 each. And then his War Scroll allows him to heal 2d3. So every hero phase, he's healing 3d3.
Oh, he's an abhorrent.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, kind of missed the ball on that one too. Although,
So he's got to go in one turn.
yeah, he has to be destroyed in one turn, or he basically is going to be at full health the whole time.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of games where like he took a couple wounds and then I went back and then I healed him. It was basically like he was a target of the enemy and he got removed a couple times just because it was like, all right, well, we're taking off Usharan this turn, and bloop, there he goes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, that was my experience with those 3 games. Each guy was real fun to play. Didn't have a bad experience there. Jeff ran a smooth tournament like I thought he would. Unfortunate you were working and too cracked out to be able to stay up all day and play and then go to work.
And then go back to work all night. I mean,
Yeah.
and my night wasn't so busy, but it was busy enough that I'm glad that I didn't do that.
Yeah, sure. All right. Let's go. I wanted to go over Nick's list and then we can hit on a couple other lists and see how the tournament went here.
Sure.
So Nick, that's my list. Nick ran COVID Part 2, 1960. On his points, he played Nurgle, and he ran it in the Taliban of Nurgle. As a 3-drop, he did bring the Primal Energy lore, which I forgot to ask him, but I don't know if he got many of those out. He only has 1 wizard in his army, so it's likely that he didn't cast those.
He should have cast the Kronspine. Oh, that's right. He sold it to me, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. Still fucking working on that thing.
So, someday you're gonna have to talk to him about that.
We're gonna have words.
So
those models worse than my kid.
anyhow, so he had a general's regiment with the Great Unclean One being the general, with the Godfather's Blessing and the Witherstave. He also put a unit of non-reinforced plague bearers in there, from which he said, I made a mistake. I should have reinforced those ones.
Yeah.
But his first regiment, he brought the Slimix and 3 Beasts of Nurgle.
Okay, I like the 3 versus Nurgle.
And then his regiment number 2, he brought Spoilpox and 2 units of Plague Drones, not reinforced and not the big flies. And then he did bring a reinforced unit of Plague Bears in that regiment. So he was saying that he should have swapped the reinforced unit with the non-reinforced unit. That way the bigger brick of guys could have had the benefit of the honor guard. But he says he likes the list. He said he played it pretty well. Like it felt good to him.
Really?
Yeah. Which I do like the Slimix combo with the Beasts of Nurgle, because the Slimix once per turn in the movement phase gets to bring a Beast of Nurgle back to life. So essentially, with bringing 3, he's really bringing 6.
Yeah.
You know.
So they each can come back once.
Yep. And since they're a single model unit, they just come back. Like there's no way to half the unit, right?
Oh, so it's not like half the unit. It's or whatever. It's like
It,
each one can come back once.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that combo's cool. The Great Unkeenling one is a 2-cast wizard, I believe. But I mean, there's a couple spells I think in his lore that are helpful. I think there's like a healing spell in another one that he tries to do. So I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how many actual manifestations he got out on the board during his games. He didn't say. Like when we talked about our games, he didn't really. It wasn't a point of his to make, so I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah.
And then the Spoil Pox gives out buffs to Plague Bearers. So he can give them like, I think you said he can give them +1 attacks, or you can give them +1 to save or something like that. I think that's like wholly within 12 or whatever from him. So I'm sure he just had that dude standing behind all those Plague Bears the whole time and handing out buffs. So I think that part's kind of cool too.
Yeah. I think
And
plague bears are it. Like from what I've understood, plague bears are pretty money. I think they do mortals on 6s.
yeah, they got crit mortal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that with being able to reinforce them and buff them, and they have the staying power, you bring the great unclean one. I think this edition, plague bears are it. Although I have seen, I think I've seen a list with the big flies, not these.
Yeah. I think the big flies. If you're gonna play flies, I think the big flies are gonna be the ones you want. He has some kind of like affinity with the drones for some reason. They lost their shooting attacks, so in my mind, they're probably not worth bringing. But they are demons. They're demons, and he wanted to run a full demon list. But I think if he swapped out the drones for something else, maybe more plague bears or more beasts of Nurgle, even. I think it might even feel better for him. The other thing that's super annoying, and I had a practice game with him against this list, is that the plague drones don't have like the modified coherency rule for 2 inches.
No, so they got to be all tight.
So they have to be so tight. They have to intertwine their wings to get close enough to keep coherency. It's like the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, Nick went 1-1-1, as one does if your name is Nick and you're from the Old Man Gaming group.
Right, as one does.
I still don't. I don't get it. Let's see.
But he did take home the best spot for Old Man Gaming. He kept us afloat with the dub.
He toppled me. You're right. He played. So William Chaffee. He played, and that's the game you seen with the Slaves of Darkness list.
Yeah.
They decided to chop it up, so that was a tie.
Which is crazy. That guy I was talking to him, he said at Adepticon, he ran a Nurgle Night list, and he went 4-1 at Adepticon, and then he tied.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah.
I mean,
Weird, right?
I mean, kind of a good thing for Nick, I guess.
Yeah. Gabriel Stepananovich was his second opponent, which he actually won Best Painted. Jeff gave out a Best Painted award.
Okay, cool.
Turns out it was Justin Crandall's Sylvaneth army that he let borrow. So
that's a nice looking army.
Yeah. Shout out Justin for painting that, and Gabe for playing it.
It's a nice looking army.
But that's the game that Nick lost, and then Nick played our other buddy Justin Grayson, that we've played a few times, and he's going to come down to our event next month.
Nice.
He ran his Khorne list with a Bloodthirster and a bunch of Bloodletters, I think.
Yeah, I saw his list too. It had at least one reinforced Bloodletter. I want to say it was 2. I did see he had the Unfettered Fury Bloodthirster.
Yeah. And I think he has some Skull Crushers too, or whatever those mounted things that you like to run sometimes.
Yeah, I run Skull Crushers, but I didn't see that he had a mortal character, and so I thought maybe he was proxying them as Blood Crushers, because I don't know how you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you can bring Skull Crushers. I mean, you could look at his list if you wanted, but
yeah. But anyway, Nick ended up getting a win there.
Nice.
I really think Justin was out of his mind. Like he was telling us, like he was unsure if he was going to come yesterday, and so he's a bartender, and he was at work until I don't know 1 o'clock in the morning or something the night before. He had to close,
Making that money.
and then he got home and couldn't fall asleep. So I think he said he went to bed at like 3, and then he lives in Flint, I think. So it was about an hour-ish drive for him or something like that. So he went to bed
I'm
at
gonna be
3,
honest.
and he woke up at like 6. He was like, dude, I'm like so fucking tired. And by the game of 3, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of exhausted anyway.
Yeah.
And even
Well,
Nick had said Nick texted me and he was like, I don't know if we're gonna get through this game because like, it was taking a while and like the concentration level for both them guys were like, it was kind of gone.
well, Nick's concentration level starts there. To be
Well,
fair.
I'm just saying like,
And we both played Justin, and he smacked me once.
yeah, he got me once good too with that corn list, but he was running double Bloodthirster I think, or Scarbrandon and Bloodthirster before. So he knows how
It
to.
was a different army.
I think he's a decent corn player. I just think he was like super tired and like not focused at the end of the day, and he said that too. So
3 hours of sleep is my average,
yeah.
so I mean that don't impress me much.
well, it's probably a little bit less than my average, but not much.
It's true.
But yeah, so
It's probably my fault.
so Nick got the win there. I didn't see how that ended up turning out, like the board state-wise, but congratulations to Nick on getting 1.5.
JFK, were you at the tournament yesterday at Hoplite? Thanks for the first time chat.
Oh, yeah. Awesome, man. Welcome to the chat. Oh, shit.
boy.
Okay. All right. All right. Pause. We need to pause. Pause the show. I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Dan Robertson.
Dan Roberts.
Dan Robertson. We are talking about Dan in a few minutes. Dan, stick around. Maybe you can give us some insights on your list. But we also would like to invite Dan to the Discord.
Join our Discord. Come to our tournaments.
Click the links down there, Dan. You can follow us if you like, but more importantly, click and join the Discord channel. We run events too, and we'd love to have you down.
Oh, you are coming to our tournament? Am I wrong?
Maybe I didn't. Jesus. Yeah, we're good TOs.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
He is registered. Dan's registered already. Yeah, August 24th. Cool. I just seen his name on there. He's
Love that.
part of the Cobra Kai Gaming Dojo. Love those guys.
Perfect. Yeah, they're one of my favorite groups.
Cool
I've been
dudes.
to a couple
Very
of those
cool
bros.
dudes. Yeah, man. So appreciate you signing up, and we'll see you in August. But stick around if you want, Dan, if you got some time, because we're gonna run through some lists. And turns out one of your lists is pretty good yesterday. So
Where did he end up?
well, that's part for the end of the show because really good players won a lot of games.
I thought we were at the end of the show.
We are now. So that was Nick and my army and Nick's army, and then what I did want to touch on, we carpooled with a couple of our buddies up there. So it was me and Nick from our team, and then we brought Michael Rausch. Everybody knows Michael Rausch, and two of our other buddies, the brothers Luke and Rick Edinger.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on Luke's list real quick before we get into the winners and stuff. Because you even pointed out he was like big pigs. Luke said I'm running big pigs in the Grunta Stampede, no less. So
No, I walked up and I was like, dude, 5 big pigs. And he's like, yeah, I just thought I'd have fun. I was like, Sounds cool to me, dude.
And it was, that's the kind of, I might start doing that a little bit too when we play some games, because obviously I have some armies I like to test out, but like,
Yeah, you haven't played anything but fucking Flesh Eater
like,
books since 1988.
I got a big pig army because I thought that was going to be the new hotness.
That's true.
I have full dragon Stormcast armies, so like there's some things that I'd like to try out.
You have way more than that for Stormcast, though.
Oh, I know, but like lists I'd like to try, but probably don't try usually because it's like, oh, that's not competitive, you know? Maybe just
You don't
like
know it's competitive.
fun games or whatever. Oh, maybe you could just be good at it. I don't know. Anyhow, Luke's list. He ran it in the Grunta Stampede. His general's regiment consists of the Tusk Boss, with the Trophy Hunter and the Boom Skull. He also had two. I don't even know if you can. Oh, can you do? Oh, you can do that in that regiment. Okay, that's probably why he did it. So he had a reinforced unit of Gore Gruntas, a regular unit of Gore Gruntas. Oh, those are the Gore. Never mind. 6 Gore Gruntas, 3 Gore Gruntas. Yeah, and then in his other regiment, he had another Tusk Boss, and then he had 3 Hacking Crews. Pretty interesting. I think probably Hacking Crews are too high priced, and Gougers would have been better. I think the Gougers have on their scroll Strike Last. They can hand out Strike Last, I think. I don't think the Hacking Crew has it. But the Hacking Crew, I think, are the ones that can hop over things. So I don't know if that was his plan with their rampage. But yeah, so he went 2-1, and he finished like 4th or 6th or something.
Yeah, he was towards the top.
Yeah, so that was cool. I mean, I told him prior to the event, I said, if you're running big pigs, you better show out, because it'll give me hope for running a big pig list later. I didn't want to see him go like 0-3 and go, man, big pigs just suck so bad they can't be played. So that gives me hope that like I pull out some of those pigs I got primed up and maybe throw some paint on them and run them at an event maybe. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Luke and his big pigs, because that was exciting for me to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next up, Michael Roush's list. Turns out that Michael went 2-1 also, with a 1-point game loss. So very easily could have been 3-0. His last game, he said he made a mistake. Just one turning point of a game would have got him a couple extra points, he said. So, but he was running catapults. So he brought OCR Bone Reapers in the Mortec Ballistry battle formation. Was a 3-drop. And he brought in his general's regiment Cavalos, or the Arch Cavalos. He brought Cavalos Death Riders reinforced. He brought the Liege Cavalos in the regiment. With his regiment, he also brought more Death Riders and a unit of Morghast Archai. And then his last regiment was Folk Morden, the Master of the Bone Tithe, with 2 Mortec Crawlers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, he said that the Crawlers probably only bringing 1 would have been better. He didn't think 2 had legs, really. So I know he's got a much more competitive list that he was running at the GT in Pittsburgh the weekend before this.
Yeah, that one was.
It was like 30 Death Riders or something total or something. Yeah, so he said that's much more of a competitive list, but he was surprised by some of the stuff in this list. The Morkai still hit hard, and then Arch Cavalos, I think. he was surprised by, or maybe the Lee's Cavalos. I can't remember which one. One of the heroes. Yeah, one of the heroes he really liked. But again, he said that probably would take one of the crawlers out to add something else in. Probably more cav.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really focus fire with them unless you. I mean, they have that ability where on a 4-up, you get to make something strike last. It's still 50-50. And if you're shooting 2 of them at it, you increase your odds a little bit, but then you're shooting 2 things at 1 unit to try to make it strike last. And you can't strike last twice. I mean, you're just striking last.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seems like maybe it's overkill and it's unreliable at 50-50. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Strike last,
I mean, the strike last is good, but on a 4-up seems bad. Yeah, I don't know. There may be some games you just never get it. Yeah. The lone loss that Mike did take, or I'm sorry, the lone loss that Luke took was actually against Mike.
Oh, okay. So Luke lost to Mike, and then Mike lost to.
Mike ended up losing to. Hold please. There's a lot of M names. Mike lost to Justin Crandall by 1 point.
And Justin Crandall
ran the Trolls.
The Trolls. So you lost to him too.
Yep. Okay. But again, that was Mike's list. He wanted to try out some more catapults, so he did. But congrats, Mike,
RTTs are the way to do it.
Yeah. Now we get to Mr. Dan Robertson. So Dan, I think Cruel Boys are going to have some legs this edition just because of the dirty tricks. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, agreed.
He ran a list called Crit Block, 1980 points with Cruel Boys in the Trophy Finga Battle Regiment with a 3-drop. He did bring us Kronspine, so that was the first Kronspine we've seen out of the list we reviewed here. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else brought one. I didn't look through every list, but clearly the Kronspine is decent enough to put in a Cruel Boys list.
Well, and if you only have one caster, I don't know what he has, but I mean, if you're only rolling with one caster, I mean, you're not going to get a ton of spells out. Just like Rob says on Honest Wargamer, he kind of ranked all the endless spells, and he said basically you're taking the one group if you have lots of casters, and if you don't, you're bringing Kronspine, and that's pretty much it.
Well, the Kronspine is really going to help with also just fighting those endless spells and taking them off the board. Right. So, and if you only got one caster, so Dan has one caster with +1 to cast. So getting the Kronspine out is a little easier. And once he's out on the board, Dan, was there spells that you actually wanted to cast, or were you more concerned about having the Kronspine on the board with unbinding someone else's endless spells or banishing? Maybe you can speak on that while we go through your list. So the General's Regiment that Dan brought was the Swamp Caller Shaman with the Potgrot as the general with the Swamp Staff.
Okay.
Mystic Shield, huh?
Oh, you have Mystic Shield? You're the one?
Fucking Cruel Boys have Mystic Shield? Fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
Wow. That seems good. I'd love that.
Yeah.
In his General's Regiment, he brought a reinforced unit of Bolt Boys. In Regiment number 1, he's got the Snatcher Boss on the Sludge Raker Beast with Slippery Scumbag.
Love it.
Also brought a reinforced unit of Gut Rippers, which I think is real good. Real good. He also has 2 units of Monster Killers, which I've heard a lot of people hyping up the Monster Killers.
Yeah, I feel like they're high on the list.
Yeah.
DPS.
Only being 120 points, too, which seems pretty good as far as pricing goes. In Regiment number 2, brought the Break-a-Boss on Meyer-Brute Troggoth with a Beast Skewer Killbow, another unit of Gut Rippers, and the Marsh Kalla Slogoth.
Okay.
Yeah, seems cool. Again, I think Dirty Tricks battle traits are real good. How did you find your games went, Dan? Did you feel pretty confident in each game, or was it kind of a nail biter situation? Uh, oh, to be clear, Dan was one of the three O's.
Okay. All right.
So Dan ended up placing in second place behind the next list we'll look at. So, what is the elixir? He said plus the free elixir. Is that just the thing that the like the toxin whatever the guy hands out? Oh, teleporting.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
his army has teleporting, and then like everybody else,
Okay. So
fights last is just an ability.
yeah, fights last is huge. Like I can do that, and that felt real good when I did it.
I feel
Okay,
like
so
there's a lot of
the
options with
elixir
that.
gives +1 to save. You hand out +1 to save. Plus you get a Mystic Shield spell, which is +1 to save. I'm sure still right. And then you put out the Kron Spine to be a nuisance. And even if he's not fighting endless spells, he's just another unit on the board.
Well, and he does 3 damage. I mean, he's like what rend 6 swings, rend 2, 3 damage.
Yeah,
I mean, he
pretty
can
good.
kill some shit.
Yeah,
So, and the thing is, he's just better than your other units, and he's going to come back and fucking do it again. And you have a
yeah,
+1 caster, so you just protect him. And I mean, Kronspine is money. I mean, it seems like, he's only got 6 swings. He's only doing a max of 18 damage. But he's like one bro that you kill it, you have to kill. And if you don't, I mean, he's coming back either way. So I don't know.
yeah. And
And those spells are kind of interesting the way they have them set up right now.
maybe, and I don't know how I'm going to adjust my list. The option is there to put the Kron Spine in, obviously, but um, I guess if I had to like reduce casters, maybe I'd have to make that switch, just because I do have that unlimited spell that I can cast out multiple times. So usually that's like the second cast of one of my wizards, to try to get that buff onto people. Slogoth makes you fast, especially late game. Kronspine is too big to be super effective. Well, I get that. I mean, the pie plate's big. Although he still moves 10 or 12, I'm guessing. And then you got him pulled up still? Kronspine?
Oh, I didn't pull him up at all. I just do that.
Oh, you just knew
Um,
it. He just memorizes all the scrolls. Okay, I got you. Anyway, yeah, so moves 10. So, yeah, depends on where you can put them out at. I think getting them out early is better. You have more space on the board because I'm assuming he's still going to be set up outside of 9 of enemies. So it's going to be a
yeah, but
tight spot to fit him once you're engaged, probably.
But being big also helps you because I mean it's going to block out a lot of the board, and they have to go completely through it if they want to get to something.
No. I know early on you can get
Well,
him
no, I
out
was
and put
just
him in
saying.
front of you, but like if you're engaged, there's probably limited spots for him to be cast late, so you might have to put him behind you, and then you can't move him the turn you set him up.
Yeah, one he's saying he can be ignored, and yeah, he can be, or he can be. Well, no, he can't really be lifted with banishment. Yeah, I guess you're right. Like you can ignore it; it still moves 10, and it can charge. So I mean, it could get to some stuff, and it could probably hold down, like keep somebody off of a side of the board if they're
Yeah.
gonna just ignore it.
Well, also, I think the way he used to work, he actually was a unit, right? That you just put in your
Oh yeah.
list.
Well, yeah,
So
and then you weren't allowed to run away from him. Once you got into him, you were
yeah,
stuck there.
but
He
also
doesn't have that
in
anymore.
that regard, he would have counted for being able to control objectives that he can't now because he's a spell, and so yeah, I guess like even trying
I
to
think
use
he's
him in.
more fair this way.
Oh sure, yeah, but like he doesn't do certain things, and he's big, and he's got to get into a fight to be worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So he won't capture anything, and not moving hurts him. That does feel weird. I think like when I did get a couple cast out, like some of the times when I was choosing which spell to cast, I had to choose shackles because I didn't have space to put like the Gravetide in front of me and also 9 inches away from my enemy. So I'd be like, well, at least I can cast shackles, and that I can put like in your face or in between us, and clog up a little bit that way. So I get it. I mean, like big plated things are hard to fit, especially when you're restricted with 9 inches.
I think you're right. Primal Energy is better, but that's only better if you have enough casters to get all those spells out and still be able to cast all the spells you want to cast during your turn or whatever. Like, if you're casting one spell a turn, it's going to take you 3 or your turn and a command point, and then your turn to get all 3 or 4 out. And I mean you probably have better stuff to cast eventually. So if you're only casting one spell, or you have 1-2 caster, throwing that Crown Spine out there, then you're like, okay, it's on the table. I don't have to worry about my endless spells. I can cast the stuff off my lore. I feel like that's the way to go in that case. But you're right. If you have multiple, like Jake's running 2 casters right now, Primal Energy is the way to go. It's just a better spell lore overall, but you have to have the guns to throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't just what you can't do, I think, in this edition is you can't, because the manifestations are free and they are powerful. Some of them, you can't rely on trying to keep putting those out all the time and negate ever casting your spell lore that you need for your army.
Right.
So I mean, there's a balance there probably, but obviously getting those out like turn 1 would be ideal. And then, because you're not really engaged turn 1 with the enemy. But outside of that, you just may want your buffs more than an endless spell on the table. So, I don't know. It's a weird feeling when you're thinking about spell choice. Because you want to do all of it, but you don't have enough. I mean, you're not going to always get all your casts off. And then if you don't bring multiple casters, like Dan, you got 1 spell cast. There you go. Try it. So,
yeah.
But anyway, congratulations to Dan. I didn't get to talk with you, Dan, so I apologize for that. But we will be speaking with you come August when you come down, because that's for sure. Josh and I are not currently registered to play in the event, so we will be doing our mingling and seeing how everybody's doing, walking around saying hi to everybody, and doing all the social things.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. For coming by.
So appreciate you signing up, and hopefully you have a good time. So you come down for other events and tell all your buddies and friends to come. Also, Dan, it's worth mentioning, since you're in here, that we are going to run a GT here in February. If that's something you're interested in getting on to, we don't have the BCP thing up yet. I think we're going to post that sometime in August.
Hopefully by early August. We're going to have like a team meeting, kind of discuss our plans and see if anybody has anything they would rather do. For the most part, me and Jake kind of got it mostly ironed out, but we want to include everybody, see what everybody has to say, and then hopefully early August we'll get that rolling.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. Again, it'll be in the Discord and all that stuff. So we'd love to have you.
Yeah. Good times.
All right. Finishing up in first place is Mr. Justin Crandall. Apparently he is my arch nemesis. Every single tournament I've ever been to that he has also been to, we've been paired. And
I mean, that's Mike Roush for me. So I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's a really strange thing that happens. I love that dude. Cool dude. A good buddy. Now that we've gotten so many games in with each other, he lives out in Grand Rapids, so it's cool to see him being able to make it over for this one.
Yeah, it's about 40-minute drive over there, give or take. Probably a little farther if you're on the other side of Grand Rapids. So
Yeah, it was surprising to me to say it wasn't that far away, but in my mind, I guess since it's like the other side of the state for us, it's like must be far, but also
yeah.
Lansing.
Lansing's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lansing's in the middle.
So yeah. Anyway, glad to see him out there. He brought another Gits list because he's a Dirty Gits player.
Yeah, but he brought a nice one.
However, yeah, he brought a really good list this time. So Gits Trolls is the name of the list. 1990 points. Ran it in the Trugherd battle formation with a 3-drop.
Okay.
He brought the it's really called Dank Manifestations. He brought the manifestations for Gits, in which he successfully cast 0 of those the entire game.
Against you.
Yeah, against me. He told me what they did, and he about tried to cast them each time, and they never went off. So that was fun for us. We between the two of us, I got Shackles out once. He got 0 spells out. So no magic phases at all.
Nice.
In his general's regiment, he had Scragrat the Loon King as his general
does.
because he is the War Master.
And the Loon King.
Oh, that's true. He is the king. He also brought a reinforced unit of Rotgut Troggoths.
Okay.
Big problem with those guys. Regiment 1, he brought the Troggoth King, so technically he has 2 kings in his list. Weird.
It's kind of like Tenacious D.
Yeah, 2 kings, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good reference. I got it.
Yeah.
I knew I knew it.
I'm glad you picked that up. That's an old man gaming reference.
Yeah, that's old
You got
school.
to be an old man. Yeah.
With Trug, he also brought a Dankhold Trug boss with the Clammy Cowl.
As you should.
Yes. He also brought another reinforced unit of Rotgut Troggoths. And then in his last regiment, he brought the Fungoid Cave Shaman with the Loon Touched item. And a unit of Boingarat Bounders reinforced, and then a unit of Squig Hoppers.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that was actually a really nice piece of his list, outside of the unkillable Rotguts.
Okay.
The Bounders and the Hoppers, they have that random move characteristic, right?
Yeah, but didn't they make it better? They like before it was like just.
Oh yeah. So it's a D6 plus a number. Before it was like just 2d6 or whatever. So
D6 plus 8.
Yeah.
For the hoppers, that's
yeah.
Sexy.
So during our game,
D6 plus 6.
he was trying to move them around and stuff, and he thought, well, maybe if I auto run them. But he didn't want to spend a CP. Debate back and forth, and he says, you know what, I'm just going to run them. Rolls a 6 for the random characteristic, then rolls a 6 for the run.
Okay.
So they were moving 20 or 24 or whatever it ends up being. He did that. He rolled 6s every time he rolled a roll for runs. And the random. I went, okay, whatever. You just move as far as you fucking want.
Yeah, he has some special dice.
Yeah, it was like stupid. He's like, all right, well, fine, I'll just roll it. Bloop, 6. Bloop, nice. 6. I was like, okay. Do whatever. I mean, you're going to get wherever you want. He hopped over all my shit, got behind me, killed my chair one turn, ran down my other heroes that, whatever. But the real big problem with his list, outside of those guys that move fast, and they're basically to do tactics and stuff and be fast.
Yeah.
The frickin' rock guts, or the rock guts, man, they don't die. They really don't. So, and we discussed this prior, but they are 5 wounds each, so 30 wounds in the unit. They are 4-up base save and a 5-up ward. Not the easiest thing to kill. However, every time they fight, they heal D3. At the start of every turn, they heal D3.
They must get that every time they fight from their battle formation.
And that could be.
Because it's not on their scroll.
That might be, because I think the other guys got it too, the Trug bosses. So maybe the Trug herd has that thing. I don't remember. But yeah, so, man, it's so oppressive, man. Because, like, you end up doing, like, say you did 9 damage into the unit with an attack. You kill one of them, one model. Then he fights you back. He heals D3. So the 4 wounds you put into the one guy, he might heal 3 off that, 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Then the turn's over. Start of next turn, heals the rest of the wounds off that guy. It's like literally you can't, like, he always keeps the models topped off full.
Well, and then you can rally and bring those pros back. Well, you got to get 5.
Yeah, the rally's tough, he said, because, he said there is a an artifact or a heroic trait or something that you can add the 3 to the rally roll. But even at that, it's like a 50-50 shot if you do that, you know, he said.
Yeah.
Working out the math. So it wasn't that great. Plus, I mean, like, even if a whole unit of 6 dies, he can bring them back on a 4-up. Or no, he can bring them back with a command point at half strength.
Okay.
Because of the shrine.
Right.
So you almost, like, have to kill the shrine, which isn't all that easy either. I think it was like 14 wounds on a 4-up save. But you got to put something significant into that if you don't want the things to come back. And you also have to fight those trolls with multiple units, or else you won't kill enough to make a difference.
Right.
You know, and they hit hard. I mean, like, if you look at the stat profile.
Yeah, I was just looking at them. Yeah, so their melee is 2 attacks, 4s, 2s, 2 rend, and 3 damage. That's fucking hefty.
Yeah.
That's a cron spine, except for like a baby cron spine. And then they also have the 10-inch throw where they hit on 5s, wound on 2s, rend 2, and D3 damage. So they can do a little bit of damage from range as well. It's a good unit.
Yeah, it's very strong, and it's only 340 points, which is fucking insane. So
170 for 3.
Yeah. So for the same, just to compare, for the same thing that I run, the horrors, right? The horrors are 150 points per 3, so 300 versus his 340.
Yep.
My stat profile in the horrors is 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1 if I'm near a hero, and 2 damage.
Not as good.
So already the profile is worse.
You might get an extra swing through. You could be a little more swingy. But.
The horrors, they do have a D3 heal in my hero phase only, so worse healing. I don't get any benefit when I fight with them as far as the healing goes, or even have access to that in my army. I guess I can bring back models into the unit if my heroes have points to do so. But just the trade-off, like, you'd rather have what the trolls have versus what I currently have.
Well, and then, the key, though, is they have 5 health, and you don't.
Yep.
They have a 4-up save, and you don't. And they have a 5-up ward save, and you don't.
Yeah.
So, but the other trade-off is they only move 6.
I move 7.
Yeah, but you have...
Do you know what I mean? Well, I guess, yeah. Sure.
So,
but it's like, but the trolls just have that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's pointed out to be like, it's really cheap for those rock guts right now, I think, in comparison to what you get with them.
Well, I think that you're playing like a fast-moving and a fragile army, and rock guts, on the other hand, are a slow-moving or slightly slower-moving army with more staying power. I mean, it's just a different type of army, but I think maybe you're in your brain want to play something that's a little bit more defensive, but I don't know
Well,
if you
I'm
want
just
to give
saying,
up
like,
that offense.
no, I mean, like, trolls. Okay, here's the thing. So trolls wouldn't be as bad if they were just tanky. They're not
Yeah.
just tanky. They're tanky and hitty.
Well, they're not as hitty as your guys.
Ren 2? They have Ren 2.
Yeah. So what? Like Ren 2. I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, Ren 2 is good,
Ren
but
2 2 damage is better than Ren 1 2 damage.
well, they're 3 damage.
Or the 3? Ren 2 3 damage?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
So, yeah.
Ren 2 is not on 3s.
Yeah. I mean, I can get my guys to 2s with the spell, but I got to do some things to buff my guys to not be as good as trolls.
Well, you're also technically cheaper.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, he even agrees that those guys should probably go up to like 200 points rather than
And
170.
they probably will. And they probably will.
But right now, we're going to deal with those guys because those guys are insane.
Yeah, they sound good.
Literally
That's what
insane.
I've been saying. Since I saw his on the board, I was like, man, I can paint my trolls.
Yeah, that'd be super fun for me too.
I can paint my trolls. I mean, I'm working on the slaves, but I mean, I could take a little break from the slizzies and move on to the trizzies.
And that's why I keep you around, to throw every oppressive armory at me so I get practice.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I learned every war scroll in the game.
Yep, there you go. So anyway, congratulations to Justin on his 3-0 taking top spot, if I can get
That's
back
awesome.
to it.
And best painted.
Technically it's best painted through his hobby. Someone else ran the other list or the other models he painted. But yeah, so anyway, weirdly enough, in third place, William Chaffee, the guy that took the tie with Nick, ended up placing third with his Slaves of Darkness list.
That's too bad, because if he would have just beat Nick, which he probably was beating Nick, but Nick talked him out of it, he might scoot up a spot or two, you know?
Yeah,
or he might have played somebody harder later. It's hard to tell.
But yeah, so very cool. It was a super fun tournament. Even, you know what, going to these kind of things and trying out a list that I didn't get a lot of practice with prior, and then realizing early on that it just wasn't going to go the way I thought it was going to go, it still leaves room in your day to be like, okay, well, look, I'm not going to be competitive, but I'm going to have fun playing these dudes and playing Warhammer for a whole day.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at. Wasn't like super disappointed that I underperformed. I knew I made some mistakes while playing the list, but also I think the list was part of the problem. So it was a combination platter of not running it quite right, and then also not bringing enough hammers in the list to deal with other people's shit that they wanted to put in my face. So
yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Jeff will and the Hoplite Games crew up there will run some more events that maybe we can get to.
Yeah, hopefully this is the second one in a row that he's put on a Saturday I was working.
Well, you know, you just submit your schedule to him so he can work around you.
Yeah, I'm just going to fax him my schedule for the year.
Yeah, so anyways, it was really cool, and he did do, like I said, he did do a Best Painted award. He did give out the top 3, and then also gave out 3 door prizes, which was really cool. All of it was store credit stuff, which was still nice. So all in all, yeah, I think it was a real fun tournament. At least I got to play somebody that I like playing. I got to play Justin. Like I said, I've played him multiple times into multiple different tournaments. I think our record against each other now is an even 2-2.
Very nice.
But yeah, so excited to meet Dan. Now that I can put a face with the Discord name, I have a hard time with that sometimes, just because like I don't know everybody's like pseudo online names, you know. But yeah, so I think the next one on the docket to get to is the one in August, right? I don't think we got another one
Yeah, it's
lined up.
ours.
So about a month from now, a little less than a month from now, we'll see you guys down in Monroe. And good luck to everybody in that tournament. And like I said, again, I do want to iterate before we get off here. If you're interested and didn't get a chance to sign up yet, please get a hold of us either via Discord or email or some kind of social media thing. Get a hold of us so we can start a wait list going.
There will be drops. I
Yeah.
guarantee. At least one person's going to drop, maybe two.
Something always
We will be able
happens.
to fill holes. Like both of us will likely be able to play if nobody joins the wait list. But I mean, we play all the time, and we just want to give the opportunity for other people to get games in. So
Yeah.
we're totally cool with standing around and talking to people and answering questions and
Yeah, and to
just
be real,
vibing.
the amount of questions asked was kind of a lot, but it's a new edition.
Right.
I had multiple questions I had to go to Mike or Jeff to get their feedback on, just the way like timings of things or whatever, and you know, just little things that you need to figure out before like you don't do it in the wrong order or whatever. But yeah, so as we all learn together, hopefully by our tournament, maybe some of that'll get ironed out between the player base.
Yeah.
But we'll be there. We'll have a couple copies of the rule book. I'm sure everyone has the app, but we'll help you guys out if needed. But yeah, it's important to get right early so we don't play a whole edition wrong. You know?
It's true. I mean, there was a lot of things that we didn't figure out until late in the edition, in
Yeah.
last edition. I mean, not a lot of things, but like just like being able to get cover in melee. Sounds weird, but it's how the train works,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that till like well into the edition.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point because there's all new terrain rules, and I did have a couple instances where you know, someone was doing a shooting attack against me, and then I had to say, hey, look, I have cover here because all the terrain pieces give you cover, and I was on one. So it's just it's gonna be a little bit different. I think mainly because like last edition and all the previous editions with the jank kind of terrain rules, no one really used them, right? So
Yeah,
now
they're
we'll have to
kinda
get
ignored.
into that mode where we gotta make sure we kind of pay attention and start using those more frequently, at least the correctly. I mean, whatever. But yeah. Anyways, that's the Hoplite Games RTT recap.
Loved it.
It's
No,
very fun. Yeah, I guess we kind of rambled a little bit there,
no, I'm
but
talking about. I loved being there for an hour.
oh yeah. I thought you were like, man, we're going on the second hour here, whatever.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, it was
Go on
cool
as
that
long as we need
it
to
was at
go.
least it was cool that you got to show up and just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, say hi to everybody.
Yeah, but we will. I'm sure we'll do that one again. You know, when they have some more events. But I think that wraps it up for this week, guys. Like I said, we'll probably do one of these type of shows after each tournament we do play in, just so you guys can have our insights on how we think the tournament went, what lists we thought were real good while we were there. Shout out some new people we got to play. I think that'll be good for the community as far as I don't know if there's a lot of other shows that do that.
Yeah.
So we'll
Especially
be the
not
ones.
fairly local.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Also, we want to do a show eventually where we kind of pimp your lists, or at least look over your list and tell people what we think. So if you're interested in us checking out your list and you want us to critique it or make some suggestions or whatever, feel free to send that to our email or drop it to us on Discord and let us know that you want us to check it out. And maybe we'll talk about your list on the show if we're looking for, if we have a slow week or we haven't done a lot, that's something we may end up throwing in. So
yeah,
if you're interested in us checking out your lists, let us know. And we'll get that. We'll get that show going.
Yeah, I think to that point, what I'll probably do in the Discord, I'll probably make a Pimp My List channel.
Yeah.
That way
but
you
it
can
also
just
can be sent to
dump it
the
in there.
email.
Well, I know, right, but if you're in the Discord and you wanna post it in there, I think I'll just make a channel to where you can throw it in there. I do have a list channel in there now, but not specifically for the YouTube show. Yeah. So that'll be probably where the best spot is to submit lists for that type of show. But that would be real fun too. Is like we could just comb through a couple lists during the show and make suggestions and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, just talk about what we think it's going to run like, and if you come and watch the show at that time, you can give us an idea of what you're thinking, just like JFK did tonight or today.
Yep. Thanks again for you guys hanging out. Thanks, Frenchie, for showing up. Cool.
Dell's
to see
in the background too. He hasn't said anything, but Dell in the background.
Dell likes to listen.
Yes, boy.
But yeah, thanks, Dan, for showing up for the first time, or at least the first time chatter. Also, did not know this, but Michael Roush listens to all of our shows because he had some comments about you from last show.
Oh, he was talking some shit.
Not so much. I think we were going over how scoring in a tournament should go and that kind of thing. And he was like, "Yeah, I remember when Josh said blah blah blah," and I was like, "Oh shit, you listened or you watched?"
Yeah, remember he was on the one.
Yeah,
he was on the one.
So anyway, yeah, cool.
He tells his friends.
Yeah, cool to have you guys hanging out in the show. And always, if you want to catch it later, we're going to post it on YouTube here once we get off. So I guess until next week, we'll have fun playing Warhammer, and we'll let you know how our games are going.
Goodbye, friends.